Coming up on 5 Minute News. Trump flies to Florida to face criminal charges in documents case. Commuter chaos as section of I95 collapses in Philadelphia. And scandal-ridden former Italian Prime Minister Silvio Berlusconi dies aged 86. It's Tuesday, June 13. I'm Santa Templeton. Former President Donald Trump has flown to Miami to face criminal charges of unlawfully keeping US national security documents and lying to officials who tried to recover them. Trump is scheduled to appear in a Miami federal courthouse on Tuesday at 3 p.m. EDT for an initial appearance in the case. His supporters are planning to load buses to head to the area from other parts of Florida, raising security concerns for officials. Trump has continued to proclaim his innocence and vowed to continue his campaign to regain the presidency in the 2024 election, with opinion polls showing him far ahead of his rivals for the party's nomination despite the indictment. Trump faces 37 felony counts, 31 relating to the willful retention of national defense information, containing some of the nation's most sensitive national security secrets when he left the White House in January 2021, and storing them at his Mar-a-Lago, Florida estate, according to a grand jury indictment released last week. Photos included in the indictment show boxes of documents stored on a ballroom stage, in a bathroom and strewn across a storage room floor. It also alleges Trump lied to officials who tried to get them back. He is the first former or current president to face criminal charges, but legal experts say that does not prevent him from running for president or taking office, even if he's found guilty. Any federal trial in Florida may not take place until after the November 2024 presidential election. Trump has accused Democratic President Joe Biden of orchestrating the case to undermine his campaign. Biden, meanwhile, has kept his distance from the case and has declined to comment on it. US drivers face long commutes after an elevated section of the Interstate 95 Road collapsed in Philadelphia following a fire on a fuel tanker truck. The fire closed a heavily travelled segment of the US East Coast main north-south highway indefinitely over the weekend, causing traffic nightmares and long diversions which are still having a knock-on effect due to the road collapse. Transportation officials warned of extensive delays and street closures and have urged drivers to avoid the area in the city's northeast corner. The Southeastern Pennsylvania Transportation Authority said it was operating extra morning and late afternoon trains during peak hours to help support the city's and region's travel needs. Officials said the tanker contained a petrol product that may have been hundreds of gallons of fuel, with the fire taking around an hour to get under control. The northbound lanes of I95 were gone and the southbound lanes were compromised by heat from the fire, said Derek Bomer, battalion chief of the Philadelphia Fire Department. Runoff from the fire or perhaps broken gas lines caused explosions underground, he added. A crash had happened on a ramp underneath northbound I95 around 6:15 a.m. on Sunday, said State Transportation Department spokesman Brad Rudolph. And the northbound section above the fire collapsed quickly. A massive concrete slab fell onto the road below. The collapsed section was part of a $212 million reconstruction program that only wrapped up 4 years ago. With the segment carrying roughly 160,000 vehicles per day, it's likely the busiest interstate route in Pennsylvania. Silvio Berlusconi, the billionaire media mogul who was Italy's former premier, has died, aged 86. Many Italians admired him for his wealth, charm and his brash, boastful style, and they kept returning him to power, making him the country's longest-serving post-war leader. Once Italy's richest man, Berlusconi used his television networks and other media holdings to launch his long political career, inspiring both loyalty and loathing. He radically changed Italian politics when he entered the public arena in the 1990s, introducing US-inspired campaigning. Talking about his hold on Italian politics in 2009, he said the majority of Italians in their hearts would like to be like me. For a while, Berlusconi seemed untouchable, surviving corruption trials, diplomatic gaffes and sex party scandals. But ultimately, one charge would stick: tax fraud stemming from a film rights deal. Some affection for him faded as well in 2011 during Europe's debt crisis, which saw Berlusconi hand in his resignation to end his third and final term as premier, a leadership tenure which spaced out over 17 years. Berlusconi was admitted to the San Raffaele Hospital in Milan on Friday, his second recent hospitalisation for treatment of chronic leukemia. Pope Francis sent a telegram of condolence to his family, and a state funeral will be held on Wednesday in Milan's Duomo Cathedral.
5 Minute News is an Evergreen podcast covering politics, inequality, health and climate, delivering independent, unbiased and essential world news daily.